one is the first video from All Angles. We'll be doing videos weekly or bi-weekly, just whenever, about whatever the hot topics of wrestling or MMA are. Introducing myself, I'm Justin.
I'm Will.
I'm Alan.
And this week we'll be talking about what would we do with the state of wrestling after the Benoit tragedy. And personally, I've heard cases that, as far as the road schedule goes, to take off 2 or 3 months off the schedule and give various wrestlers at different intervals time off. The only problem with that would be that it's going to interfere with storylines and angles. Now, what I would think about doing is you have the Raw brand and SmackDown and ECW brands are all on the road 4 days a week, and then they have 3 days off. Typically, your Raw brand they're on the road Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and your SmackDown and ECW brands are on the road Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Now, if you take 1 day off of each of those brands' road schedule, and so you have them on the road, each brand 3 days each, that's going to amount to 1 day off each week. And then counting the 52 weeks a year, that's pretty much going to amount to about 2 months off. So you get back to the whole theory of having 2 months off, but you don't have to worry about the problem of storylines and angles being messed up.
Go ahead, man.
I think that, you know, what Justin was saying, you know, kind of right. I mean, maybe they do need to, you know, reduce the road schedule.
This is vodka, by the way.
But, you know, I personally, you know, I think that not only the road schedule, you know, I think, you know, the guys need to be a little, you know, the drug testing needs to be a little more, you know, pure, you know, they need to do a little more to the drug testing because, you know, some of these guys are coming out on TV and, you know, they're getting, you know, kind of like Lance Cade, for instance. I mean, 1 week the guy, you know, he looks like he's out of shape, and then 3 weeks later, you know, he looks like he's Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
Well, I got something to say about the wellness testing, okay? First of all, it's a joke. Chris Masters fails that, and he's getting a push. He fails, and he comes back looking like me, and oh, what? He starts jobbing as super crazy, all right? So what happens? He starts getting big again. Well, obviously, he's not eating at the Waffle House every morning, so, you know, he's back on the roids, and he's getting rewarded for it. So what precedent does that show? It shows that unless you're just overly charismatic or 7'4", you know, you got to be on roids if you want to get pushed.
Right. Well, everybody knows that there's problems with the wellness policy. It's very hush-hush as far as the top guys go and who makes the company money and so forth. And this is like you've seen in the past year with Chris Masters and Randy Orton. They get made fun of when their size goes down. So I don't know really how strict they are with the wellness policy. I know the policy, at least from what I understand, is the first time you mess up, you stay on TV and you stay on the road for 30 days without pay. You mess up a second time, same thing, but then you go without pay for 60 days, and then a third time, then you're gone. So you have 3 times before you actually get fired from the company compared to once or twice, which I think twice should be the max for that. It's hard to tell though exactly how that wellness policy really works when they're very even hush-hush about that. They come out with the regulations of it in a broad perspective, but there's a lot of controversy about what prescription drugs are allowed and what aren't. I know basically if you have a prescription, then okay, you can take it, and that's about it. They're very broad with what they allow and don't allow.
Yeah, and that's bad. I mean, Benoit was obviously on prescription drugs, and you know, God rest his soul, but look what they did for him. I mean, I know y'all read the report that came out saying his doctor was giving him, what was it, 10 months worth of steroids every 3 to 4 weeks?
Right.
Yeah, and he's still getting through the wellness policy. Obviously, there's a hole, not that big, but we're talking about a girl that's been around 12 blocks big, you know, massive, you know, and I'm just like, that's huge.
Right.
I mean, anybody can fit through there.
I think the most sad thing about this tragedy is, you know, we got people coming out of Woodworth and, you know, Deborah and all these, you know, Bill DeMont, all these people saying this, saying that.
Even Luger's got 5 seconds of fame.
I mean, you know, I even read something about Hogan saying that Nancy worshipped the devil.
Really?
So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
That's what Hogan said, by the way, so we know how to take his word, right?
Yes, I know Hogan, Mr. Anti-Steroid. Yes, of course. Right. And then you gotta have Warrior talk about it. All right.
Right.
But yeah, it is. I mean, it's a sad, sad situation. It really is. But whenever there's bad, comes good. And you know, I was explaining earlier off camera when we do our real talking. We're just giving you a facade right now. But no, early in the '90s, the steroids trial where they fired Davey and they fired Warrior, and Hogan went to court. Vince got slammed hard with that, and he had to be very careful. And what happened? Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels get pushed, two of the best workers of the last 15, 20 years in the company. And, you know, and right now we've got Lashley, Cena, Khali, you know, freaking, you know, muscle man after muscle man. Well, now we might see, you know, your CM Punks or your Elijah Burks, who I don't think's on roids. He looks like a naturally built guy. We're going to see these more naturally built guys that can actually move around and can work and can talk. Kennedy, you know, get these pushes rather than your meatheads and your roidheads. It's a good thing.
I'm hoping we'll see that. Like maybe we'll have the more undersized guys come up and get that push that aren't. They don't look like they have that big steroid look to them. They have the regular natural size to them. People like Matt Hardy, possibly, which I know Matt Hardy always gets a bad rap about he'll never get pushed and whatever, but that's just an example. But hopefully we'll see something like that, like Will said in the mid-'90s when we saw Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart get their chance.
Austin, too. I mean, he wasn't on roids, you know.
At the time, I assume.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, that's come out. Never mind. Cut that.
Not according to Deborah, but...
Well, of course, according to Deborah, Austin beat her around every day. So,
right.
You know, either she has no self-esteem or she's lying.
Right.
You know.
I mean, obviously there needs to be changes to how the schedule is, to how drug testing is taken, because, like everybody knows, in the past week, it's been put out there more than anything that all these wrestlers died before they're 45. Isn't it like 65
wrestlers?
Yeah.
65 wrestlers died in the last 10, 12 years that are under 45. So there needs to be changes, obviously. It just depends what exactly is going to be done. Mainly, I know the big focus is on WWE, but that's because they have the global product that they do have. I mean, you could talk about TNA, but they only do 3 dates out of a month.
Yeah, and you know, steroids, it's like you had pointed out, they've always done steroids. And that's caught up with some, you know, like Hercules Hernandez and people like that. But the road schedule is brutal. And we're not talking just steroids, we're talking painkillers, we're talking uppers, we're talking downers. You know, we're talking going out and partying and waking up and having to throw those uppers in so you can go work out 2 or 3 hours. I mean, it's brutal. I mean, you know, I don't know, I've never been there. I can just imagine how tough it is on these guys.
I also want to point out before we wrap this up that, you know, Chris Benoit was, you know, withstanding all the situation that's going on and everything else, you know, he was, you know, someone who I looked up to, you know, if I wanted to emulate my career and wrestling career after somebody, it'd definitely be Chris Benoit, because he always had, you know, he gave you 110% every time you go out, 5-star match. You know, I never had a problem with a Chris Benoit match. He always gave you, you know, the best he had every night and withstand it. I mean, I don't know anything about his personal life and everything like that, but I mean, he was one of the greatest of all time when it comes to like wrestling.
Well, he was one of the few that, whether you're a smart or whatever you want to call it, internet dude or a guy that goes to the show and just, yeah, I love Cena, your crappy pants comment makes me laugh. You know, it doesn't matter who you are. You could always respect him. You know, he wasn't for the kids, he wasn't for the little girls, he wasn't for the internet fans, he was for everybody. Right. And for this to happen is, to me, carries a bigger blow. I mean, you know, it's just, it totally catches you off guard, and I mean, if he's doing it and it gets to him, I mean, I think it shows it can get to anybody except for Viscera, who's obviously not on roids. You know, so.
Right. The main point is, you know, we see people like Benoit, and so many people want to idolize him for the person that he is, and then we have everything come out that has come out from this tragedy. And it needs to be a thing where whoever we look up to in this industry, and with their in-ring, to their personality or whatever it is, inside and outside the ring, we want to keep that same perspective of them and don't want to have to keep getting these surprises that he was doing this and he was doing that, or he did this or he did that. Obviously, like I said, changes must be made, and it's going to be a damn shame if there isn't.
I say 2 things. One, whenever something bad happens, damn sure make sure something good comes out of it. So this is a bad situation, but let's improve and let's fix on what's bad with the W, because there's some wrong stuff. And B, fans out there, learn to separate the in-ring competitor from the out-ring competitor. Respect him for his work, but I mean, the person who was outside the ring, be able to separate and differentiate between the two.
Right. Well, that'll be it for this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back with another video sometime soon.
That's right.
Next week or so. For now, I'm Justin.
Will.
Alan.
And this is From All Angles, and we'll see you next time.